What would you do if someone tried to unlock your car with a key they swore was theirs, only to call the cops when it didn't work? That's exactly what happened to me on a sweltering July afternoon in a grocery store parking lot, where the air was thick with heat and the faint smell of asphalt. My name is Mia, a single mom juggling a toddler, a full-time job, and a beat-up sedan that's seen better days. I never expected a routine shopping trip to spiral into a showdown with a woman named Karen, whose face buffy, red, and twisted with rage would haunt my nightmares for weeks. It started innocently enough. I'd just loaded my groceries into the trunk, my 3-year-old, Liam, strapped into his car seat, babbling about the ice cream I'd promised him. The sun beat down, making the parking lot feel like a frying pan. I was about to slide into the driver's seat when I heard a sharp, grating voice behind me. "That's my car." I turned to see a woman stomping toward me, her oversized sunglasses perched on a face that looked like it was permanently set to a scowl. She was heavy-set, her floral dress straining at the seams, and her cheeks were flushed with indignation. Her hair, dyed a brassy blonde, was pulled into a messy bun that seemed to quiver with her fury. In her hand, she clutched a key fob, waving it like a weapon. "Excuse me," I said, confused, my hand still on the car door. "That's my car," she repeated, her voice rising to a pitch that made Liam stop singing and stare. "You're trying to steal it. I saw you." I blinked, glancing at my faded blue sedan, its bumper adorned with a sticker from Liam's preschool. "Ma'am, this is my car. I just unlocked it." "Don't lie to me," she snapped, stepping closer, her breath heavy with the scent of coffee and entitlement. "I know my own car, and that's it. I have a master key, and I'm going to prove it." Before I could respond, she jabbed her key fob at my car, pressing the button repeatedly. Nothing happened. No beep, no click, nothing. Her face grew redder, her eyes narrowing into slits. "This is outrageous. You've tampered with my car." "Lady, I don't know what you're talking about," I said, trying to keep my voice calm for Liam's sake. "This is my car. Maybe yours is parked somewhere else." "Don't you gaslight me," she shrieked, now close enough that I could see the sweat beading on her forehead. "I'm calling the police. You're a thief." She pulled out her phone, her fingers trembling with rage as she dialed 911. I stood there, dumbfounded, as she ranted into the phone about a carjacker in the parking lot. Liam started to whimper, and I leaned into the car to soothe him, whispering that everything was fine, even though my heart was pounding. I couldn't believe this was happening. All I wanted was to get home, unpack my groceries, and give Liam his ice cream. Now I was being accused of stealing my own car by a woman who looked like she'd fight a bear over a parking spot. Within minutes, a police cruiser pulled into the lot, its lights flashing. 2 officers stepped out, a tall man with a calm demeanor and a shorter woman with a no-nonsense expression. The woman, who I'd later learn was named Karen, was still yelling, pointing at me like I was a wanted criminal. "She's stealing my car," Karen bellowed, gesturing wildly at my sedan. "I tried my master key, and it didn't work because she's done something to it." The male officer, Officer Daniels, raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, can you lower your voice and explain what you mean by master key?" Karen puffed out her chest, as if she'd been waiting for this moment. "I have a universal key fob. It opens any car of this make. I use it for my job at the dealership, and it didn't work on my car because she's tampered with the lock." I stared at her, my mouth half open. A universal key fob? For a car dealership? This was getting weirder by the second. "Officer," I said, stepping forward, "this is my car. I have the title, registration, and keys right here." I reached into my purse, pulling out the documents and my key fob, which I clicked to unlock the car again. The lights flashed, and the doors clicked open. Karen's face contorted, her lips curling into a snarl. "That proves nothing. She's a liar. Arrest her." The female officer, Officer Lopez, took my documents and examined them, then handed them back with a nod. "Everything checks out, ma'am," she said to me. then turned to Karen. Can you show us your key fob? Karen thrust it forward triumphantly, as if it were the Holy Grail. Officer Daniels took it, inspected it, and frowned. This isn't a master key. It's just a standard fob for a different model. Ma'am, do you have any proof this is your car? Of course it's my car. Karen snapped. It's the same color, same make. I parked it right here this morning. Then where's your registration? Officer Lopez asked, her tone sharp. Karen faltered, her eyes darting around. I left it at home, but I know my car. At that moment, a new voice cut through the tension. Excuse me, is there a problem? A man in a grocery store apron approached, his name tag reading Mike. He was young, maybe in his early 20s, with a nervous smile. I couldn't help but overhear. I saw this lady, he pointed at Karen, trying to unlock a car earlier, a few rows over. She was yelling about it not working then, too. Karen's face went pale, then red again. That's ridiculous. I wasn't anywhere else. This is my car. Mike shrugged. I'm just saying what I saw. That car over there, he pointed to a shiny blue SUV 2 rows away. Looks a lot like this one, but it's newer. Maybe that's yours. The officers exchanged a glance. Let's check it out, Officer Daniels said. We all followed Mike to the SUV, Karen trailing behind, muttering about how this was a waste of time. When we reached the vehicle, Officer Lopez asked Karen to try her key fob. She pressed it, and the SUV's lights flashed, the doors unlocking with a cheerful beep. Karen froze, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. I must have gotten confused, she stammered. But that doesn't mean she didn't try to steal it. Ma'am, Officer Lopez said, her voice icy. You called 911 and falsely accused someone of a crime. That's a serious offense. And this master key story? That's not adding up either. Do you work at a dealership? Karen's eyes widened, and she started backpedaling. I used to. I just meant I know how these cars work. Officer Daniels wasn't buying it. We're going to need to see some ID and run a check. You've wasted our time and made a false report. That's not something we take lightly. As they led Karen to the cruiser to question her further, I felt a mix of relief and disbelief. Liam was still in his car seat, now happily munching on a cracker I'd given him to stay calm. Mike, the grocery store worker, gave me a sympathetic smile. Sorry you had to deal with that, he said. She was out here earlier, trying her key on a bunch of cars. I think she's just confused. Confused or not, Karen's story unraveled fast. The officers discovered she didn't work at any dealership and had a history of filing false complaints, everything from stolen parking spots to neighbors spying on her. Her master key was just a fob for her own SUV, which she'd mistaken for my sedan in her haze of self-righteous fury. The kicker? When they searched her purse, they found a small amount of an illegal substance, enough to warrant an arrest. As they cuffed her, Karen's face was a mask of rage and humiliation, her earlier bravado gone. This is outrageous, she screamed, her voice echoing across the parking lot. I'll sue you all. I watched as they loaded her into the cruiser, her shouts fading as the door slammed shut. Mike shook his head. Some people, he muttered, before heading back to the store. I drove home, still shaken but grateful for Mike's unexpected intervention. Without him, who knows how much longer this would have dragged on. The incident left me thinking about how quick we are to judge, to assume the worst of others. Karen's anger, her need to be right, had blinded her to reality, costing her more than she ever imagined. For me, it was a reminder to stay grounded, to listen, to double-check before pointing fingers. Liam, oblivious to the drama, just wanted his ice cream. As I scooped it into a bowl for him that evening, I couldn't help but smile. Sometimes, the universe has a way of serving justice, one melted scoop at a time. Yindi.